So, like a bit of a foreboding motto that I think all coin collectors should have is "You're not that lucky," and it sounds like a sad thing, but it's just managing expectations. Number of times I talk to people about a coin I'm in the midst of researching, like a rare coin. They always have the reaction. They react like I have that rare coin, and oftentimes the whole reason I'm researching it is to disprove that I have that rare coin. You know, having that mentality will spare you from, getting into a punch up on the Antiques Roadshow, for going off into delusion land where you're sort of believing your own funk over other things. It's always sort of best to believe that. I mean, like I've literally got a pile of guineas, and they're all fake, all of them, and it's a very common thing. So it's sort of like if I'm sifting through coins, if I see a guinea, the first thing I think of is this is not a real guinea, and this is an interesting coin, and I've been reading about this. It is, well, it's a silver 2p. It is not a silver 2p, but we're going to call it that just for the moment, until I explain why it is not a silver 2p. Now, the silver 2p has been, it is quite a famous misprint that has been done by the Royal Mint on, I think there's 3 of them that have been found. On the Wikipedia, there's one from, it cites one from 1971, one from 1992, and one from 2001. This is a, I shan't spoil the surprise, but I believe this is a 69. And it was basically, they struck a old 10p by accident, a 10p blank. So the old 10p, we go over here, you can see that one there. And you can see that there's a 2p in it right next to it. But this layout thing, I'm going to do we're going to talk about that a little bit in another video. But you can see the 10p there, and you can see here is the florin, the 2 shilling coin, and that was the same dimensions as the 10p. They did downsize this 10p later. But this was it when it originally formed, and it was because a florin, 2 shillings, is 10% of 240, which is the amount of pennies that there was to a pound, and a shilling is 12 pence. It essentially is 10% of the old pound, and that's why it just makes sense to change that coin over to that one when we go from 240 pennies to a pound to 100 pennies to a pound. This coin, one of the easiest ways to tell if it is a legit coin, well, first of all, is it that size? It is not. That's the easiest way to work it out. But as well, if you slide a knife across it ever so gently, you can see that little line there. I've done that just to demonstrate. That tiny little line there. I did that with a Stanley knife with an absolute minimum amount of effort. It's copper, it's very soft, especially in comparison to something like this. With the exact same effort, you're not even going to dent that. But this is the bit that made me laugh. If I turn this, if you're wondering why I've got it in a capsule, it's just a memento at this point, it's just a curio. But if I turn it over... Someone didn't just check it with a knife. They went absolutely Freddy Krueger on it. And if I didn't know better, I'd say it looked like a fit of frustration. Sorry, mate. It's not real. Well, it's not real. It's still real. I mean, it's still a 2p coin, but and a lot of you may have clocked this already. There's a science experiment. They do it in schools quite a lot, where they put some chemicals and stuff on the copper. My memory's not great enough to remember exactly what it is, and they just turn it into one of those, and that's all it is. But considering how many coins I pull in, and how many 2p I pull in, we've got a bag of them over here somewhere, and that's Oh, that's just the ones that haven't been sorted. This is the first one of these that's turned up. So I thought I'd honour the little bugger by putting him in a capsule.